Supreme Warlock Master, your knowledge of science and sorcery is unsurpassed. This is your chance to experiment and make the world your playground of diabolical weaponry. Perhaps the Astalians could be your first test subjects. They may well be harboring a wealth of warpstone, and will surely offer little resistance to a carefully aimed doom rocket. To the north, the Bretonnian dukedoms fight for honor and chivalry. Yet they have a soft underbelly, which could easily be exploited by Skryre's Under-Empire. Many greenskins dwell in the mountains north of Tilea. They do not know it yet, but both they and the Tileans could prove useful fodder in furthering your research. Your workshop awaits you, my lord. Let the power of warpstone be felt by all through the explosive experiments of Ikit Claw.
Hello, I am MonstersAbound, currently recovering from a gift received from Papa Nurgle and sounding a bit like a discount nasal James Earl Jones. And when I say a discount, I mean Poundland bargain bin, please, dear God, take one, James Earl Jones. Anyway, enough whinging from me. Welcome to the first part of a brand new campaign with Clan Skryre as Ikit Claw. There he is.
Chief Warlock, Ikit Claw.
Thank you, Ikit. There we go. Ikit Claw is an inventor, a scientist, and a gentleman, but well, giant rat man thing. Joining such scientific alumni as Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls, Dr. Robotnik from that hedgehog thing, and Busted, who travelled to the year 3000, where not much had changed, but they lived underwater, although realistically, Busted actually did very little science. They were just dossing about. It was all their next-door neighbour, who was called Peter, but they called Pater because it rhymed with the end of the previous line of the song, Neighbour, which basically tells you everything you need to know about Busted's musical range, which is to say that it is incredibly limited. And then they had the gall to have taken all the credit for that boy's scientific achievement by writing a song about it. But that's the sort of thing men and rat men of science have to deal with. And that probably explains why Ikit Claw generally builds weapons of mass destruction, or at least some destruction. The more destruction, the better, generally. Which is also the reason Busted never wrote a song called Giant Warpstone Bomb, because had they looked out of their back window and seen their neighbour Ikit Claw with a flux capacitor, the next line of the song would have had to rhyme with, "We all became tortured test subjects, and all our nipples were hooked up to warpstone batteries for no discernible reason." Clan Skryre is one of the four great Skaven clans, so called because they hold sway over the rest of Skavendom by having some sort of niche or service unique to their clan, and for Clan Skryre, it's technology. While Skaven generally use superior numbers to overwhelm their foes, there have been times where that's not been enough, and that's why Skaven warlords will purchase the service of Clan Skryre weapon teams. Enough warpstone tokens can buy you some rather destructive weaponry. Some more warpstone tokens may make you survive using them. Either way, Clan Skryre gets paid. Warp lightning cannons, globadiers, rattling guns, all weapons that terrify both the Skaven and their foes alike. Clan Skryre have considerable clout on the council due to the effectiveness of their death machines, and no other member of Clan Skryre knows more about them than Ikit Claw, the right fang of Lord Morskitter. Ikit is totally batshit insane, but the type of insane that has gone so far that it's broken through into a sort of sanity all of its own, driven to produce the most destructive, most diabolical, most technologically advanced weapons in the Warhammer world. A wise man once said some people would do anything to see if it was possible to do it, and if you were to put a large switch in some cave somewhere with a sign on it reading "End of the World Switch, please do not touch," the paint wouldn't even have time to dry. In Ikit Claw's case, he'd take time to upgrade it, to make sure that when he flicked the switch, the explosion was big enough. So here we are starting as Ikit Claw and Skaven Blight as Clan Skryre. Yeah, you can. Off you go. Come on, bugger off. There's been some new mechanics added for the Skaven for all Skaven factions, and that's the Skaven Under-Empire, which is a bit like the Vampirates ports mechanic, where you can build a settlement in an enemy settlement, which is... I love that mechanic. It feels so different from anything Total War's ever done before, I think, because generally, let's be honest, the Total War games have mostly been about Total War. which means that settlements are either something to be conquered later, or something to ignore. Maybe like an allies or something. But there's very little sort of any way you can interact with those settlements beyond those sort of three topics. So to have the ability to use an enemy settlement for your own benefit is actually really interesting. I love it, and the Skaven do it so well. I can't wait to get to use this more. I have played the first few turns of this campaign just to kind of get an idea of some of the new mechanics and setting up some of the Undercities, and I love doing it in the Vampirate campaign, so going to love doing it here. We've also got the Forbidden Workshop, so we'll get rid of that for the moment. So we've got the Forbidden Workshop here.
Flay and slay.
Yep, so this is one of the new units, the doom-flayers. And we've got some upgrades we can actually give them, and using this new resource, which is warp fuel, there we can get those from doing hero actions, from doing after battles, for doing missions, all that kind of stuff. And you can upgrade these particular units. So doom-flayers, we've got doom wheels.
1.21 gigawarps.
Exactly. The weapon teams. So we've got the rattling gun weapons, the warp fire throwers, the warplock jezzails, and then we got doom rockets, which is an ability.
Explosions, yes, yes.
Yep, Ikit likes those. There are battle effects, which is quite potent. Let's put it that way. So very, very useful, particularly early on. Now, technically we could build another doom rocket, and as much as, I mean, we could do that, couldn't we? Because I like...
Testing done. Real thing now.
Okay, so, what I'm thinking.
A good flay to die.
Thanks, Ikit. Right, I think what we're going to do is we're going to build another doom rocket. That's going to give us 2. So we're going to do that. That leaves us to 2 warp fuel. Now, I quite like...
Equip and mad.
Exactly. I quite like the onboard waste capacity, because it basically means that these guys never run out of ammunition. So I think we'll take that. Now it does mean, because as you upgrade these bits, this bar down here fills up, and that will give you access to different little items here. So I have before gone for the rat eye scopes and the onboard capacitor, and that's given me the incendiary rounds as well. This time I've gone for the doom rocket, because I think the doom rockets... Okay, Ikits. Yes, we know we will. Chill. Christ, he's feisty. So feisty. So I think we're going to try that, because the doom rocket could well help us move faster early on. So that's what we're going to do. So we've also got this little chap down here, and he has sharp claws, which is fine, I guess. It's generally, what do I call you? Oh, I know. Hal. I'm going to call you Hal Loomy. Hal Loomy. There you go. Okay, we're going to pop you in Ikit's army, because you're going to increase movement. You're also going to eventually buff up our weapon teams and all that kind of good stuff, and I like that, so we want more of that. Also, engineers can be used to create undercities in enemy settlements. Creating undercities does cost about 2,000 money, which is quite expensive, and also it has a 10-turn cooldown. So it does take, if you want to use agent actions to create it, it's going to take you a while to do it. You can always attack a city, and rather than sack it or occupy it, you can create an undercity and then leave the city alone. So that is an option as well. I don't think there's any cooldown on that, so that could be an option if you want to create them more quickly. There's also some of the buildings in the Undercity actually have the chance to spread the Undercity to adjacent provinces, which is quite cool. So if we put an Undercity in somewhere sort of central, we can build that building and then hopefully spread it sort of out from that way, and that could be quite an interesting way of doing it. So I want to see if we can... I want to see how effective that is, basically. I think it might be quite effective, quite a passive way. So we're going to try that. But the first thing... We've got a couple of problems to start off with. One of the plus things Ikit has, obviously, other than the workshop, which... I love this workshop. It feels very very StarCraft 2 in a way. I think was something that I kind of picked up on. It felt very StarCraft 2.
Make teams better.
Exactly, that's what we're going to do. And I really like this. I do understand why people might not like it, because it makes the other Skaven factions less interesting. I think the problem is that, and we've seen this time and again, is that for every game, for every DLC that Creative Assembly do, they up the bar. Every single time it gets better. And once again, I think they've just upped that bar again. This is a fantastic expansion. I love it. I'm generally not as excited about the Lord packs as I am as the faction packs, because obviously a whole new faction, very, very interesting. A couple of new Lords. It's not bad, but in this case, I think they've knocked it out of the park. Really, really, absolutely fantastic. Love it a bit. Love it to bits. Brilliant. Cannot stress that enough. But Ikit does start with quite a defensible first city, Skaven Blight. Perfect. 10. Is it 10 slot? No. 12 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Good. I'm math good. Excellent. It's weird it doesn't have 13. Anyway, so Skaven Blight is a 12 slot city. So pretty huge. Doesn't have any minor provinces by itself. It does start off with some multiple unique buildings. The first of which, of course, is Skaven Blight itself. So you can see at the max rank here, we're going to increase our income by 750, which is pretty amazing when you think that we also have a building that will double it. So effectively, any amount of money you have, double it. Which is why the Skaven can become quite the economic powerhouse, despite outward appearances that they just don't really have the money buildings. Because basically every one of their buildings has some sort of income associated with it. So there we go, income 40, income 40, income 40. If we have a look at some of that, that's income 80. There's 100 income there, 100. So at max rank, that would be 200 income. 200 income, 200 income. So suddenly, you start to see how the Skaven can make a lot of money very, very quickly. It takes a long time for them to get to that point. But once they're there, they make a lot of cash. So we're going to start by upgrading Skaven Blight to Nest Lair. That's optimal. Next, now there's a whole bunch of stuff we could do, but what we are going to do is we're going to get a rattling warren for the growth, because growth is going to be important. Then we're going to get expansionist planning, because that's going to give us more growth as well. That's also then going to open up the dominating scheme. This one here, that's going to give us more food, more growth, and some public order. So the first problem is that Skaven armies are awful to start off with. Skaven slaves and clan rats, generally atrocious. Not going to get anything done. We need to upgrade our cities. We need to get better units, and we need to do it fast. So we need to do it now. So that's what we're going to start. We're going to get, as soon as we're... Growth. That's what we need. We need more growth, then more growth.
Where are my schematics?
And then more growth. Schematics on growth. That's what we need. The next problem is the fact that our public order is fucking atrocious. Because we've got corruption, we've got difficulty level, we've got taxes, we have no public order buildings. Currently we've got minus 13 public order. And the only thing that could actually offset that and fix it is going to be the Temple of the Horned Rat, which increases public order by 13. Which means that until we hit the max rank of city, we cannot fix our public order problems. That in itself, a bit of a problem. So, we need to upgrade Skaven Blight ASAP to make it secure. Now, we've got two factions, well, I'm going to say three factions nearby. We've got Tilia over here. Now, they do have pastures, but Mornington Crescent here already starts off with quite a large garrison and some mortars. We ain't going to get past that. No way in hell. Those mortars will just liquefy our clan rats. So no dice. But Estalia here does have Tobaro, a minor settlement right next door. We've also got the Beastmen, who we have a non-aggression pact with. Now I think... Hello, Kazrak. Sorry, that was rude. I interrupted you. I think Kazrak starts around here, and I think the first thing he'll do is go and suicide against Estalia, generally. So, this army here, Goros Heartrender, or Morty, as I like to call him, will generally then run away, burn down Bill Bailey, and then eventually, at some point, come back to Magritta. In that time, what we want to be doing is we want to take Tobaro. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit Tobaro. And although it says it's 50-50, this isn't so much a battle as a weapon testing situation.
Murder, death, kill.
I love how the jezzails sound when they fire, and I love the reload animation as well. Look at that, it looks so good. Ah, love them to bits. Meaty sounds just as well because they reduce. Oh dear. They reduce people to lumps of cold dead meat. So there we go. You can see they've already done a lot of damage to Spearmen unit. Obviously Spearmen don't have shields, so they're always going to take quite a lot of damage from missile attacks. Over on the flank we've got the doom-flayers. Coming down, that does not look safe, does it? Dangerous. Risky. Whew, not even... Well, I guess they are wearing helmets, so I guess there's that. Ratling gunners opening fire now, as you can see. Oh, look at that. Just absolutely melting that unit. Swordsman there. Doing so much damage. And it just looks so glorious. So good. In go the doom-flayers. I'm going to drop a brass sword directly on top of them. That's Ikit Claw's little ability, and there is Ikit Claw. There he is. Doesn't he look great? Oh, I love the models in Total War Warhammer. Always look just so good. So Spearmen have managed to make it up the hill towards our clan rats. The clan rats are going to engage, and you know, we'll drop some warp lightning on top of them just for fun. And then the rattling gun weapon team, rattling gunners, and then just going to mop up some of these retreating units because you know they need the practice. It's a little bit of target practice for them, isn't it? It's good to get the practice in. Well, there we go.
Ikit Claw has no equal.
Nope, but we did manage to test those weapons, and we got we've got 9 food. They have actually made the food mechanic a lot better. I know back when I first played Queek, when Warhammer 2 was released, I did find the food mechanic a little bit unbalanced, but I do think they fixed it quite nicely now. You get a lot more food from battles, and that's I felt what was missing. Because no matter what battle you fought, you tended to get like 4 or 5 food, and I didn't really feel that was enough. But now you seem to get like a good amount of food for a big fight, and I like that a lot.
Murder now, questions later.
All right, Ikit, fair enough. Let's just loot and occupy. I'm not going to spend any food just yet.
Biggest brain rat.
Okay, we've got excellent. We got some warp fuel. That's nice, and we've got some gambler's armor. Doubly nice. That's good. That means we can give Hal. We can give Hal the gambler's armor because Ikit already has the iron frame, which gives him armor, magic resistance, physical resistance, and weapon strength. A mighty metal frame encases the Warlock engineer's body, giving him amazing strength, dexterity, and resistance against both physical and magical harm. Well, Ikit has ranked up, so let's have a quick look at his skill tree. So he's got the basic sort of normal Skaven warlord sort of tree. He's also got some power up. I think this tree here is the same for the Warlock engineers, which is a new Skaven general. So he's got this second wind serum, adrenaline rush. Sounds all pretty good. More hit points. All of these are all one skill point, which is quite nice. And he's got his own skill tree here. He's got Power Overloaded. He's got Warp Tech Academy. Improved Warpstone Detector. The very latest thing. Optimized Production and Doomsday Scientist. He's also got his quest item, the Storm Demon. And he's got a Doomflayer and Doomwheel mount. I don't think the Doomflayer is worth it. The Doomwheel, yes. Doomflayer, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's a waste of a skill point, personally. To start off with, we're going to go with Root Marcher because you can't go wrong with Root Marcher. And so we've got Tobaro and Skaven Blight. And let's have a quick look
Where are my schematics?
at what his trait is. So he is the right fang of Lord Morskisser. Rising to this position was inevitable, for no other Warlock engineer is as influential as the infamous, devastating Ikit Claw. Upcreep reduction for warplock, jezzails, ratling guns, and warp fire thrower weapon teams, and recruit rank for the same. That does mean the weapon teams are super cheap. You can see the ratling gunners are only 100 upkeep at the moment. I mean, the clan rats are 75, and they're garbage. So there we are. And then the faction traits, we get access to the clan Skryre Forbidden Workshop. We have extra research rate. We have +2 loyalty for new recruits and construction reduction for engineering buildings. Okay, without further ado, I think we've got some... Oh, we've got damage building here. Yeah, let's repair that, because it is going to give us 150 a turn, which is pretty good. And obviously, once we've got the entire province, because we've got... Again, you have to remember, you double everything. So we have a look here at...
Damage taken.
Yeah, so at 3rd rank, we get 300. So obviously that would eventually be 600. And then the max rank is 600, so we can get that at Magritta once we've taken that. And that will be 1,200 just for a port building. So we'll repair that one. That's pretty good. Now, public order, still a problem. What we probably need to do is next turn head over to Skaven Blight and start recruiting some units, because we do have in Skaven Blight special building the Warpstone Telescope. The observable secrets of the Dark Moon shall become clear. So that gives us some food, some research rate, increases Skaven corruption, but allows us to recruit clan rats effectively without having the clan rat building. So let's just end the turn. So we've got the dominating scheme, which is perfect. Research as well. Right. So we've got the ferocious planet. It's going to give us a little more local recruitment capacity, which is very nice. So we'll grab that one. And we also want to do the dominating scheme, so we get that extra growth. So let's do that now. Lovely. Then we're going to pop Ikit into Skaven Blight to help with the public order a little bit. And we're going to recruit just some bog standard clan rats. Nothing too exciting.
I'll ignore that.
So we can see that Lupio Skryre and Ubel Schwarzenhelm are recruiting units in Magritta. Now, ideally, we want to spend a couple of turns recruiting and then make a move towards Magritta. I'm wondering if maybe I should have... Maybe I should have set this up as a level 2 and built a recruitment building in here, so that on the march through I could have recruited more units. That probably would have been a good idea. Never mind. No point worrying about it now. Okay, so we're recruiting more units. Going to spend a couple of turns doing that. Let's have a look at the victory objectives as well. We always go for the short campaign victory condition. So we need to maintain at least 50% of the following the Skaven corruption across all owned provinces. No problem. We create Skaven corruption just inherently. We need to maintain at least 50% of the following corruption in the specified provinces. Yes, so basically they want us to take on the Wood Elves and Bretonnia, which I guess is fine. They also want us to destroy the Wood Elves, Carcassonne, Bordelot, and the Pirates of Sartosa, and also to control 8 of the following settlements and maintain 60 units in total. No problem there. The chapter objectives, we have a quick look. We need to research 2 technologies, no problem there. Win 3 battles, easy peasy. Reach rank 5 with Ikit Claw, should be fairly straightforward. And maintain 4 units of the following type. No way in hell are we going to be able to recruit doom-flayers anytime soon. I don't quite... Considering this is chapter 1, I mean... Yeah, how would we recruit doom-flayers before we've sacked 2 different settlements? That's just madness. Not going to happen, is it? Never mind. Okay, we'll just carry on with our... Yeah, exactly. We'll just carry on with the recruitment for the moment. Okay, and Estalia are raiding us. That is not a massive surprise, to be honest. As you can see, the borders of our territory go all the way up here, which means they can safely raid right from Magritta, which is a bit of a pain in the... What the hell is going on with their docks? Why are their docks underwater? Yep, their docks are definitely underwater. Okay, sure. So we've got more local recruitment capacity. That's going to come in useful, so we can use that. So we're going to recruit more clan rats with shields. Just something like that. I'm going to get driven by hunger, which is going to increase our recruit rank for clan rats. Not that's massively useful, because by the time we have it, we will have recruited all the clan rats we'll probably ever need. Famous last words. So I guess we just want to carry on with that. I'm not too worried about the raiding at the moment. Actually, the public order benefit we're getting from staying at Skaven Blight is actually pretty good. That's going to help us stave off rebellion for a little while. The garrison here is actually pretty good. It's not too bad. I mean, obviously it's clan rats, and clan rats are rubbish, but it's better than nothing, I guess.
Lightning conductor charged.
Good to hear. Oh, looks like Halloumi has picked up
No threat of a challenge.
Well, what do I go with? Standardized firing drill. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. So I'm going to go standardized firing drill. Okay.
Greatest, best inventor.
We're going to get as close as we can. Something like that. We have got to the next rank of Skaven Blight. That's really useful. Right, next up, we're going to get a Taskmaster's platform to try and slow down that public order collapse. We're also going to get the Slave Wheel for more money, and we're going to upgrade the Nest Nursery so that we can get more growth. I don't think we're... Well, we are in range of you, aren't we? They might attack us, but actually, if they march, they'll be tired, and that could make things easier for us. So actually,
kill contraptions.
This might be alright. Famous last words. Okay, yeah, they're coming for us. Oh, that's a lot of crossbows. That's a lot of crossbows. Ooh, do I take this? Do I... Right, I've got my Doom Rocket. If I did something like that... I mean, it's ballsy. It's very ballsy. But do I want to take them? I think we're going to do it. But unfortunately, we've run out of time for this episode, so we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode of the Clan Skryre campaign.